Cloning is a complicated process that can create an exact copy of an animal's inherited traits. Scientists have cloned different types of livestock like cows, pigs, sheep, and goats, as well as other animals like mice, rats, rabbits, cats, horses, mules, and one dog. However, no chickens or other poultry have been cloned yet. People usually think that animals breed by physically mating with each other, but this is not always the case because traditional mating is not very efficient. For instance, a male can create many more offspring with its sperm than by traditional mating. There are also risks involved with traditional mating, such as injury or the spread of venereal disease. Females can get hurt because males are often larger, and unwilling females might injure males. Many farmers nowadays use assisted reproductive technologies, or ARTs, to breed animals instead of traditional mating because it's more efficient and safer. ARTs include artificial insemination, embryo transfer, and in vitro fertilization, which is when the egg and sperm unite outside the body. Artificial insemination has been around since the 14th century and is commonly used for breeding Holstein cows in the US. In fact, more than 70% of cows are bred through artificial insemination, using frozen semen from bulls located miles away. Cloning is an even more advanced form of ARTs. However, some people have the wrong idea about cloning, perhaps from science fiction books and movies. For example, some people think that clones pop out fully developed or grow in test tubes, but that's not true at all. Clones are more like identical twins, just born at different times. They're not weird creatures, and they're not weaker versions of the original animal either. They're simply born just like any other animal. When animals breed naturally, each parent contributes half of their genes to their offspring. Farmers try to breed animals with the best traits to increase the chance of passing those traits onto their offspring. But even with all that work, farmers still can't predict the traits of the offspring, not even their gender. That's where cloning comes in. Cloning gives farmers total control over the inherited traits of the offspring. If a farmer has an especially desirable animal that is aging or injured, they can clone it to create a younger, genetically identical version of that animal. This younger animal can then be used for traditional mating or other assisted reproductive technologies to produce even more offspring with the same desirable traits. The most common way of cloning is called somatic cell nuclear transfer, or SCNT. It starts by taking an immature egg cell from a female animal, usually from the slaughterhouse. Then, instead of combining the egg with sperm like in IVF, scientists remove the egg's nucleus, which holds the animal's genes. They then insert the nucleus or cell from the donor animal with the desired traits. After a few more steps, the donor's nucleus combines with the egg, and if everything goes well, it starts dividing and an embryo starts forming. The embryo is then placed in the uterus of a surrogate female animal, called a dam, who carries it to term. The clone is then born just like any other baby animal. Okay, so now that you've gotten the rundown on how cloning works, did you know that there are some pretty vocal criticisms surrounding the practice? Why? Well, we'll tell you in a second, but first we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on cloning? Is it ethical? Share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Also, if you're enjoying this video, be sure to leave us a like and of course subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any more awesome content like this. Now let's get back to the video. Cloning, as cool as it may sound, is not without its problems. That being said, cloning does not come with unique complications. Problems observed in clones are also seen in animals born from natural mating or other assisted reproductive technologies. However, they happen more often in clones due to certain factors during the procedure. For instance, the embryo may fail to develop correctly during the in vitro phase or early after transfer to the surrogate dam and may be flushed out of the uterus. In some cases, the embryo may develop, but it may not implant properly in the uterus of the surrogate dam. Alternatively, the placenta may not form properly, and the developing animal won't receive the necessary nutrients. In some cases, there's a condition called large offspring syndrome, or LOS, seen in cattle and sheep pregnancies, resulting from other assisted reproductive technologies and cloning. With LOS, the fetus grows too large in the uterus, causing problems for the animal and its surrogate dam. However, this syndrome has not been observed in goats and swine. Most clones that are born healthy end up being just as healthy and strong as any other young animal. However, calf and lamb clones may have more health problems at birth and have a higher risk of dying shortly after birth compared to conventionally bred animals. If clones are born with abnormalities, they may continue to have health issues for a few months, but by the time they reach young adulthood, they are pretty much indistinguishable from other animals of the same age. Scientists at the FDA and various research institutions have extensively studied the health records, development, and blood work of clones to see if there are any differences. But their findings show that clones are perfectly healthy and behave just like other animals, even passing physical exams with flying colors. Okay, so why is cloning so popular? What are the benefits? You won't want to miss this next part. You'll be shocked to find out just what cloning can do. Disease resistance. For farmers, sick animals can be a real financial burden. When animals get sick, they require medical attention, and the costs can add up quickly. Moreover, when animals are sick, they don't produce as much milk or meat. That's why having a herd that is naturally resistant to disease is very important for farmers. Such a herd doesn't get sick often, so farmers don't lose production time, and they don't need to spend money on veterinary bills. This makes disease-resistant herds very valuable. Adapting to climate. Livestock that can grow and thrive in specific climates are valuable to farmers. For example, some cows can handle hot and humid weather in the southwestern US, but may not produce high-quality meat. With cloning, breeders can choose cows that produce great meat and can withstand harsh climates, and use them to breed more cows for food production. The same applies to pork production, which is moving to different regions. Cloning can help breeders select pigs that naturally do well in new climates and breed them for food production. High-quality bodies. Farmers want their animals to have bodies that are specifically built for their purpose. A dairy cow, for example, needs to have a big and firmly attached udder so it can produce lots of milk. It also needs to be able to easily give birth to calves. In contrast, for animals that produce meat, farmers look for those that are muscular, strong, and grow quickly to produce high-quality meat in the shortest possible time. Farmers also prefer bulls that produce offspring that are smaller in size at birth, so that it's easier for the female to carry and deliver them. However, these offspring should also grow quickly and remain healthy after birth. Fertility. In dairy cows, fertility is especially important because a cow that can't get pregnant won't be able to produce milk. And it's not just the female that needs to be fertile. The male's fertility is just as crucial. The more sperm he can produce, the more females he can inseminate, which means more offspring can be born. For meat-producing animals like beef cattle and swine, high fertility rates are necessary to replace animals that are sent to the slaughterhouse. Cloning allows farmers and breeders to clone animals with high fertility rates, so that their offspring will also be fertile. This helps ensure that the herd or flock remains productive and profitable. Market preference. Farmers and ranchers also want to keep up with the changing demands of consumers when it comes to the traits they prefer in livestock. This could include things like how lean the meat is, how tender it is, the color and the size of different cuts. It's also important to consider that these preferences may vary depending on the culture or ethnic group. Cloning could help farmers and breeders create livestock that meet the preferences of various international markets and different groups of customers. As interesting as this all sounds, is it actually safe to consume meat from these cloned animals? In short, yes. To expand on that, meat and milk from cloned cattle, swine and goats are safe to eat, just like any other meat and milk from these animals. However, clones are mainly used for breeding, and their offspring are the ones used for food production. Dairy farmers need to drink the milk produced by their cloned cows, and breeders may also choose to put clones used for breeding in the food supply after they can no longer reproduce. In 1999, the FDA asked the National Academy of Sciences to investigate whether there were any risks involved in eating meat or milk from clones and their offspring. The report stated that, theoretically, there were no concerns for the safety of meat or milk from clones. However, the report expressed a low level of concern because there was not enough information about clones at that time. The report also stated that the meat and milk from the offspring of clones pose no unique food safety concerns. As technology continues to advance, we're certain we'll see the cloning industry continue to grow and prosper. This science has definitely made its mark on the agricultural industry, and will most likely continue to do so as the years go by. Who knows, maybe human clones will be the next big thing. Only time will tell.